In today's episode, why does he have more tacos than I do? More lemons. What do you mean they aren't free? The time I sprung into action to put out a fire, only for my manager to bitch me out because recharging the fire extinguisher costs $50. Called someone out for no tip, I kinda feel bad. A positive, reassuring story. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Why does he have more tacos than I do? Normally, I just make tortillas. But today, my boss is out recovering from surgery, she's doing well, and her husband is home with her. So as the highest ranking staff member on site, I was the boss lady today. About an hour ago, just as the dinner rush is picking up steam, one of my servers comes into the back and lets me know that a customer is asking for a manager because she's upset about her order. I don't even make it to the table before this miserable pile of woman shrieks the titular phrase at me, while pointing to the man sitting across from her. So, I grab the tablet from the server to check their order. The woman had ordered one of our meal deals. It comes with 3 tacos, yellow rice, beans, and fried plantains. The man had ordered 7 tacos from our a la carte menu. I read the order back to her and asked her if the server had entered it correctly. She confirms that the order was right. I tell her that they both received exactly what they had ordered, but that I could happily have 4 more tacos out to her right away if she wanted to order more. She says, and I suppose I'd have to pay extra for that? I tell her that of course she would, as tacos are not free. She then informed me that not only did she not want the tacos, but she would not be paying for her meal. I then informed her that we have cameras in both the restaurant and the parking lot, so if she left without paying, the police would have her face and her license plate number. They finished the meal, and the man I assume was her husband, he did not utter one word in my presence, and never made eye contact, paid the bill, and left a solid 34% tip with the word sorry scrawled at the bottom of the receipt. Okay, break time is over. Time to get back to the taco mines. More lemons. What do you mean they aren't free? I worked at a restaurant that didn't give out little things for free. For example, if you wanted a separate side of lemon for your iced tea or water, it would cost you 50 cents. I didn't put the rule in place, but I had to enforce it, and you know how that goes. A 2-top came in, women in their 60s. They both ordered water and asked for a huge side of lemons. She even said, "Bring me a bowl of lemons, not some itty-bitty ramekin." I said no problem, but also warned it would cost 50 cents. They flipped out, berating me over a price I had no control over. Finally, I escaped and got them their water and a soup bowl full of lemon slices. The women attacked the lemons and, no joke, used every one. Their water cups were 75% lemon, 25% water and ice. While I was in the back, they asked another server for more. As he was supposed to, he came to me and told me to ring them up for another side of lemons. I added it to their bill. Throughout dinner, they would flag down other servers or busboys, asking for more lemons. Those coworkers also told me to add another side to the bill. When I finally printed the ticket for them, they had 5 lemon sides which totaled a whopping $2.50. I dropped the check, hoping they'd just pay it, but nope, they wanted me to take it off the bill. Rather than argue, I got the manager. He usually sided with the customers, so I prepared myself to remove the charges, but he surprised me. He refused to take the lemon charges off, and when they got loud and abusive, he claimed I hadn't charged them enough for the soup bowl of slices. He left the table, added an additional $1.50 to the check, and brought them an updated version. They were even more outraged, but the manager wasn't having it. They paid the bill, lashing out at me with hatred about how they'd never come back. Finally, I had enough. I said, "I'm a server that makes $2.13 an hour. I don't make the decisions about what is free and what we charge for." You being a asterisk asterisk whole s to me isn't going to change anything, other than make you look like a asterisk asterisk whole s. I walked away. I had never felt so good to stand up for myself, but I was shaking, terrified I'd lose my job. I told the manager what I said and prepared to be written up or fired. Instead, he said, "Good, they deserved it." The time I sprung into action to put out a fire, only for my manager to bitch me out because recharging the fire extinguisher costs $50. Bartending on a busy night, and this concerned older woman began waving me down at the end of the bar. "There's a fire outside." I could see a billowing plume of smoke outside the window. Without hesitation, I jumped the bar, grabbed the fire extinguisher, and raced out the door. There was a small fire with a couple people standing around, including a clueless Segway mall cop on his radio. I popped the fire extinguisher's safety tab and flushed the fire out before it could spread further. Someone had apparently tossed their lit cigarette into the wood chips, and I got it right before the fire reached the bushes. It really wasn't a big deal, but I got a few claps and thank yous. Except my manager. After asking me what happened, he shook his head and told me since it was outside the restaurant, it was the mall's jurisdiction/responsibility, and that it was gonna cost the restaurant $50 to recharge the fire extinguisher. I'm not a petty person, but it sure felt satisfying when I walked off the job a month later after another one of this GM's misanthropic decisions. Called someone out for no tip, I kinda feel bad. So I've been working as a server for maybe 2 months now. I work at a pizza chain that has a lot of carryout and delivery, not too much dine-in. I handle the carryouts as well as any dine-ins that may come in. Now I've worked at this place for a while, answering phones and prepping food. Now I'm serving 3 times a week as well. So I don't have much experience serving, but I do have a lot of customer service skills. I also eat out a lot, so I know the basics of what makes a good server. This couple that came in were older, they drank a lot of tea, so I kept them filled up. By a lot I mean 5+ each. I drink a lot as well, so it didn't bother me to go back to refill them every 5 minutes. Each time I went to refill their drinks they didn't say anything, did not acknowledge me unless I asked if everything was okay, so I had a feeling they may not be the tipping kind. Service-wise, there wasn't much else I could do besides keeping on top of refills and bringing the food, as it's basically fast food but pizza, but I feel I provided good service, at least for someplace that's not a fancy restaurant. The man came up to the counter to pay, like in a Waffle House or Denny's. He paid with a card but left no tip. I did not say anything as he could still leave cash on the table. I didn't have a good feeling they would though. I go up to clean the table as soon as they step away from it, partly to see if they left cash, but I was almost done for the night and wanted to get everything done so I could leave. I looked at the table real quick, see if there is some behind or under something. I saw nothing. I feel passionate about tipping and also view it as a reflection of the service provided. I never tip less than $5 personally. I lurk here a lot and have seen people mention ways they may shame customers for not tipping, including just straight up asking why. My intention was not to shame them, I just get frustrated with non-tippers. So I asked, was there something wrong with the service I provided? Very bold. I'm not typically bold. They say, "Oh no, you did great." I then say, "Oh okay." I didn't see a tip, so I wanted to make sure I didn't do anything wrong. They then say something along the lines of they left it hidden on the corner or something, then wonder if maybe it fell off the table. I immediately feel bad. I'm sure I didn't see anything, but maybe it did fall off? I restated that I just wanted to make sure I provided good service, then thank them and say good night. I went to go clean the table, then the man came back to give me a 5 and apologized for forgetting to leave it. It all ended well, but it was nerve-wracking for me. I also have the feeling they didn't forget, they just didn't tip. Overall 5 out of 10 would not do again, too much for my nerves. Also, because of the kind of place I work, I don't expect much in tips. I just don't understand and get frustrated when someone can't bother to throw me $1 or $2 for serving them. A positive, reassuring story. Long story short, after many failures at work and feeling terrible about my performance, a six-top flipped that around for me, and I'm now moving on to better work privileges. I haven't posted on here in a while because I was out of a job for a little bit due to the lack of professionalism at my old job. Stories from there can be found on my profile. Nevertheless, I'm back and working in a much better environment. The story I have to tell today is actually a positive one. So, as I said, I recently just started working at a new restaurant, and it's a lot more professional than my previous job, although still a chain. They have very high standards for serving, especially at this specific location. I had never carried a tray before. I was always an arm carrier, and here everything needs to be carried on a tray, even a ramekin of dipping sauce. So, naturally, I was nervous, but also eager to rush my training since I had been out of a job and had been needing some money to pay rent and other bills. They kept me in training for about 5 shifts, even though I had come in with recent experience, and even then only allowed me to take 2 tables maximum on my own, 3 tables being the maximum for most servers, with very few allowed 4, and even fewer allowed 5. I was naturally asking questions to the servers and just generally nervous, but wasn't making too many mistakes. Then I had a few shifts where I was messing up badly. First, I had an expo shift on Valentine's Day with the manager, and she basically had me make salads the entire time because I didn't know what I was doing and was in her way. Then, I had to call out a few days later due to food poisoning, bad hangover. Then I accidentally let a table walk out without paying their $110 bill, which I believe was an accident due to the nature of the situation, but that's a story for another time. At this point, I was so upset with myself since I had just started here and was convinced the managers hated me. Then, the day after the table walkout, I'm back working my 3 tables, and a party of 6 comes in. A big deal for this restaurant, even though at my old job I was doing 15 plus tops alone, no joke. It was supposed to go to this one waitress, but she didn't want it because she was too stressed with her 3 tables. So, they gave them to me just by chance. I personally believe that I perform much better as a server when I have larger tables, as that was mainly my job before, and I can feed off of the energy so much better. Some, of course, I schmooze them and talk up drinks and upsell on everything I can. They end up dropping $400 exactly before the tip, and they complimented my service many times. After they left, I was doing my checkout, and the manager who had helped me with the walkout the day before also complimented me and said that she wanted to start giving me larger sections and more hours. I was so happy because I thought I was doing an awful job, and it was just all around very reassuring. So the moral of the story is that even when you're going through what seems like the worst possible time at work, there will always be people who see what good you are doing and will reward you for it in some way, even if it's unexpected. Thanks for reading if you've made it this far. Smiley face.